Okay. Perfect. Okay, so as I said, on the left side, there's a menu item, set my classes. When you click on the plus button, there are two options, join class and create class. You select create class, of course. And then it gives you the option of import Google Classroom. So since you guys are at Google Classroom School, you will press on the import Google Classrooms. And with that, and when you do that, then you get a list of your classes. Since I only have one class, one sample class to demo, I am only getting that. And then I'm pressing on my class, and I am getting here, it says class successfully created. It creates a class, and it also provides me with the roster. Now, the reason it provides me with the roster is because some schools are only using it for gifted and talented or something like that. There was a need to be able to kind of select only special students to classes, so that's the reason. But if you want to import the whole class, you just select all, and that is selected, and then you press sync. And once you do that, then your entire class is imported.
Easy.
Now, what that is creating, the fact that you can select individual students, is that you will have to do this for every single class. So I apologize for that, but that was the only option here.
Yeah, we're kind of used to that. I mean, that's not too many clicks. You do it once and then you have it for the whole semester. So
okay, cool.
Yeah, our classes are redone at the semester, but that's
so here you're getting the students. For some reason, Google interprets one of my, so not Google, it's actually Project Pause interprets one of the students as a teacher. The reason is that this is a sample student, so we set her up also as a teacher, so it pushes her always as a teacher. Anyway, so but usually you will get only yourself here and the students on the right side.
Right. Now, and you can add teachers though, like if you had a co-teacher?
Yes. So you can have two situations. One of them, you can co-author a project with another teacher, and I'll show you how that is done. And you can co-teach. This is where you add a co-teacher that will teach with you the class. Now, this is also where, let's say that you decide to do a project together with another teacher, and you will use your students, and she will use, or she or he will use their students. And the way to do that is basically on the top here where it says Miriam's class, next to it, it says class code. And it has a very little class code that's hard to see, but if you want to see it really well, you click on the little square that's next to it, and it gives you exactly the class code. And all you have to do is copy this and provide this class code to that other teacher, and that other teacher will also provide it to her or his students. And then you click on the plus button here. They will log in. Of course, they will need to be part of the system. They will have to click on that link that today you created in order to create an account in Project Pause. Once they do, then all they have to do is just come here to my classes, click on the plus button, and then join class. And then they will type in that class code, and they are part of the class. That is all. This is also the place where, if, say, you want to collaborate with anybody in the country, another classroom in another state or another country, Japan, Australia, anything that you want to collaborate with, this is the place and this is the way to do it. So that's how you import classes. To delete any student from your class, you have the trash can here that you can delete. You can also edit your students and edit your students' information. I'm going to show you how you do that in a minute. So right now, this is how you do that. And I'm going to show you exactly what's happening in the class. The only reason I showed you and I had to go to this account is because this is where I have my Google Classroom. So let me just go back to my previous account. And this is, by the way, the project dashboard. The project dashboard is the place where you, as an admin, or as a, you know, in this case, districts have active schools, and then they have active teachers and active students, but you as an admin of a school, you will get active teachers, students, and projects, and you'll be able to see day by day what's happening in terms of activity, as well as top projects, and you have clicks, you can click to it and link to it, and top schools, in this case, because this is district, top teachers, and then top students, and you'll be able to exactly see what's going on in that sense. And then, okay, now this is the My Drafts area, and let's go from here. Let's start from the beginning, and let's start by actually going to the Project Pals catalog and cloning a project. And, you know, let's say that we recommend usually when you start with Project Pals to use one of our projects in the catalog and clone that and start using that. But in case that you feel confident enough to create your own project, that's fine. You don't have to. You can just come to the catalog and you know, look through projects and learn from them, and then create whatever you need to do yourself. So to clone a project, when you hover over any project, the clone button is revealed. So you can click on the clone button, and then you clone. Clone means that it copies a project for you. Now, before you do that, I'm sure that you'll go through projects and you'll decide, okay, I want to check out some projects and see, you know, and see what's going, you know, whether this is a good fit for me. And so all you do is,
I'm so sorry. Can you hold on just one?
yeah.
I'm so sorry about that.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's say that you decide, okay, I want to check out producing a documentary. So you click on the name and you go into the project and you review it. You go through the instruction to the details here and so on, and just go over the tabs and, you know, check it out and see that, you know, you like it or something like that. As I said, you can go through all these things. And then once you decide that this is it, you just go back to the Project Pals catalog and go to this project, hover over it, and click on the clone button. And I'm going to do that. Now it tells you your project is being cloned, refresh this page. So what's happening, it copies the whole thing. So that's why you need to wait a minute or two. And then when you refresh the page, any project that you are cloning, and this took a little bit more time, it's going to show up next to the plus button. So let's see.
Is it okay that I've got two screens here and I'm kind of following along with you on my other screen? Is that okay if I'm just playing around with it? I just don't want you to think I'm not paying attention when I'm looking over here because it's actually,
Okay.
I just cloned the orientation, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay. So here it is. Yeah, I can definitely give you time to also try it out. So here it is. Okay, so this is the project. And now you are, once you have that, then you will, okay. Now let's say that, I'll open it actually. And now I'm going to go through these. So this is your copy. Anything you are doing here, you can actually change everything. Click on any text box, change text, remove stuff, add stuff, whatever you want to do. Every tab has its own instructions box. So here you can change the instructions for every single tab. And you can add here anything. You can add text, you can add links, you can add videos, you can add images, anything and everything that you would like to give to your students. Now, every single project comes with a lot of scaffolding. And let's say that you decide you don't want to give scaffolding to your students. You just want to give them instructions in the instruction box. That's fine too. We are, as you see, we are providing both in the project catalogs. So you have scaffolding here and instructions on the workspace and on the instructions box for students. But if you decide, I'm not interested, I want them to do everything by themselves, that's definitely fine. You just have to remove everything. And then once you do that, then of course, I suggest before you assign the project to students to make all the changes that you want to make. Then go into the details, look through it, see if you want to change anything there. And in the project detail, you have a few things. One of them is the image. You can change the project image. You can add a YouTube video if you want a video you want to provide to your students. And there is a place here and the name of the project. You want to change the name, you can do that. And underneath it, it says publicly visible. And what that is actually once the project is finished, and let's say that you want to share this with parents or with somebody outside of the school, and you don't want them to see any analytics or any identifying information, you will click on publicly visible. And then if you share the URL, they will only see the project. They will not see any analytics. They will not see anything that will reveal any identifying information. Now, we don't include in it the names. And the reason is that when you go to team members, you see that only the first name is revealed. The last name is only the initial. So, but if the school is interested not to show even that, that's fine. We can do that. We can definitely accommodate that. And then standards. So here, as I said before, you click on add standards. And as I said, we will also have the ability to copy and paste. That's going to come in the next week or two. Right now, you can go in here, let's say you're selecting Common Core, and then you're selecting, let's say, as I said, English language, and then the grade level, and then just, select which one apply. And you just click on the add selected standards, and they will show up like this. Supporting materials, any supporting materials, anything that you want to add, and the types of things that you can add here, as I said, is websites, PDFs, YouTube files, MP3 files, any G Suite file, and any Office 365 file can be added as supporting materials, and then they show up as links here. Then students click on it, it opens up in a new tab. Teachers and students can add supporting materials. Tasks, very easy. Click on new task, It gives you here the title, type in what is the title of the task, select a due date, and then just a description of how the task should be performed. And here, because this was not yet assigned to students, you are not going to see any students here. But we have two types of tasks that we recommend. One of them is the top level task that you, the teacher, will actually assign to students. And the other one is the low level task which students are going to assign to themselves. So top level would be, once you create top level tasks, they will be, when you assign the project, they will be assigned to every single student. Every single student will see them. While low level tasks are the ones that students then, once they are in teams, they will start breaking down your top level task into specific assignments for themselves in the team. And there, in that case, their names are going to show up here and they can check mark who will do it. And tasks can be performed by one or multiple students. So please stop me if you have questions, okay?
I will, thank you very much.
Sure. Assign to class, two ways to assign a project. Now, let's say that you went through everything, and everything I mean, let's go back for a second. Before going before going to the assign, I'm going to go actually over the other things here in the dashboard. Publish to catalog. Let's say that you create a project, an original project, and other teachers have interest in that project, and they would like to use it in their classroom. In that case, you can publish this to the school, or if this is a district, to the district catalog. And once you do that, that project will be there available for them. And I'm going to show you where to find it, available for them to actually click on, clone, and use it in their classrooms. So that's the publish to catalog section. And then evaluate is the place where you will add a rubric. So here there is, because this is one of those TPSP projects, the Texas project, something, they have a special site, and this project was adapted from there. We also added the rubric, but you can add any rubric to this. So when you click on it, it opens up in a new tab and the students are able to see the rubrics. Again, the same type of files that you add in the supporting materials can be added here as rubrics. And then analytics right now, because this is just a template, you are not going to see anything right now. But once students start working, and we only record student contribution, you will be able to see, the students will be able to see here the pie chart, and you will be able to see a detailed analytics about that. Now let's go back to assign to class. And there are two ways to assign project to a class. One of them, as I said before, you decide who's going to be in the team. Number two is, it says skip teams and assign when you delegate. And when you delegate, you have to delegate it to one team leader. So you have to decide who are going to be the team leaders, and then they will decide who's going to be in their team. So let's say that I want to assign this to class C. And then when I click on it, these buttons get enabled. And then I click on create teams. And here now I'm getting the roster. Now the roster enables you to do two things. One of them, to set up actual teams. So 2 students or 3 students, or how many you want in the team. Or if you decide that this project should go only to individual students, you can just create teams of 1. So I'm emphasizing this because there was a lot of confusion about that. You know, once teachers saw that it says add teams, they thought, oh, okay, this is not for individuals. Yes, it is. So if you want to assign it to individual students, just create teams of 1. So I'm going to create here teams of 2, and I'm going to press add to team, and it created already my first team. And then I keep adding until I exhaust the entire roster. And this is the second team, and the last team will be just the student by themselves. And now I'm going to click finish and assign. Once I'm done, there are 3. I just created 3 teams, and I'm going to go finish and assign. And what it tells me here that it will take a few minutes. The reason is that it copies it 3 times now for each team. I apologize. In California, we have Santa Ana winds that are crazy, and I suffer from allergies from that. Okay, so So now, you know, if you come back to it, it says assignment are processing, check for updates. But if you refresh, you probably will see already. So it already created 2 of the teams. It will take another minute or 2 to create the 3rd one. So here, you know, this is actually class C, and this is the project section on the top. And you see now, you see that the already, you know, the projects that have been created, you will be able to distinguish between the project by the names that show up. So the names that we selected previously. So each of these projects has the student names on it. You will see all of them, your students. I mean, each of these teams will only see the project once, you know, and that's the only one they will see, their own project. And so let me just refresh and see that we have the 3rd project. Yes. So all of them have been created. Here they are. Okay. All right. So now we are, so this is it. Now the second menu item in the classroom, as I said before, this is where the members are. So this is the classroom. This is me in the class. I already told you how to add a co-teacher or how to even add students from another class. So I'm not going to repeat that. And then assignments. This section is where you decide not to assign it to already know, I mean, not to decide who's going to be in the team, but you want to delegate. So let's go back for a minute to my drafts, actually to the catalog, and let's pick another project. And this time, let's say, can you teach me, or, you know, or even who are you, the orientation. And I'm going to click on clone. And I'm going to clone this project. And here it is. And now, when I go into the project, and when I go to assign to class, I'm going to select class D, but this time I'm going to select skip teams and assign. And when I do that, it tells me, oh, okay, the assignment was created. And where are you going to find it, or where are your students going to find it? They will then come in, log in, come to class D, and then go to assignments. And on the top, it says student orientation, and it says not started. And then they click on it. The team leaders, actually, they are the ones who are logging in and doing this, not nobody else. And they come in, they go to assignments, and then click on start assignment. Now, I want to show you how that happens with a student. And let me just make sure. Yes, okay.
So you said team, I'm sorry, team leaders. Since you don't have any teams, does that mean every single student is a team leader? So they're all going to be able to access
so
it?
If there are no teams, this project, of course, maybe it was a wrong choice by me, because this project should be assigned to individual students. But let's say that it's another project, something else, okay, that you can assign it to teams. But you want to give them freedom. You want to give them freedom in choosing their partners. And so in that case, you will choose that option, but you have to assign team leaders. So those team leaders are coming in, and they are logging in, coming to the class, going to assignments, pressing the start button on the project, and then they are, and let me show you what happens when that student logs in. I'm going to log in as a student for a minute.
So you can have it so that everybody can access it, though? It just depends on how you set it up?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you decide, so I recommend that if you want it to be assigned to individual students, then I recommend that you choose the first option, the option of set teams or something like that. And then just create, let's say that you have 32 students in the class, create 32 teams, each of them with one student. And that way it's assigned to one person.
Okay.
And so here, now Elizabeth, who I assigned it to, comes in, she goes to class D, and she goes to assignments. And she sees student orientation on the top, and she will go now to start assignment. And it tells her, oh, if you are part of a group, only the group leader should start the assignment. And she confirms that she is a group leader. And then she goes, she gets the roster and say, let's say she wants Benjamin to join her. And she's going to press, or she select Benjamin, and she's going to press start. And now this project is going to be created in the class. And Benjamin, who is going to log in, will be able to see that, you know, he has a new project. That, yeah. So that's how that works. And let's see that it was created. Yes, here it is. The orientation was just created. And it is Elizabeth and Benjamin who are working on it. Okay. So let me just log out of here of a student account and go back to my account. Okay. And now, all right, so that's that. So let's go into just briefly into the project orientation project. What you have here is, instead of you having to teach the students how to use the application, they will learn how to use the application, but in a format of playing a game, or kind of turning into a project about themselves. And so, for example, when they learn about the text tool, then they have videos of how to, very short videos, each of them a minute or two, how to use text, how to remove or delete text from the workspace. And then here they have to use a text box to describe themselves and their family, media, how to use media, the different types of how to add images, video, sound, so on and so forth. Each of them has a minute or two video and an assignment for themselves, including creating family trees and learning about the event tool, a memorable event in my life, and then learning about where is it? The analysis styles, and then annotation. And annotation is actually even creating a game. They are basically creating a treasure hunt with the annotation tool. So it's a cool thing for them to go through really fast and learn everything. And then once they start another project, they are just masters of everything. So I highly recommend that you start with that. And then let's go into this project that we just cloned here. And as I said before you assign this to the class, make sure that all this information in the dashboard is updated, that you included all the standards, that if you have tasks, top level tasks, that you created them all. And they are, because once you assign, then you cannot after that update the top level teacher task, because they will, in that case, you'll have to go into each team's project and update the task if you want to update anything. And the reason is that we don't allow that is because students start working. And if we are going to allow overriding, then it's going to override student work. And we don't want that to happen. Mm-hmm. So just make sure you go over everything. Now here, there's a set of tools on the left side. But before we have the tools, I just want to focus on the tabs on the top. So as I said in my presentation, this is basically the project itself is broken down into phases, and each phase leads the students into solving the driving question in the end. And so you will decide, if you design the project, you will decide what are those tabs and what each of them is going to achieve. There are several ways to do this. One of them, if you have a project in which each student in the team is fulfilling one expertise, then you would probably create a tab or two for that expertise, and then those students are going to focus on that and only work on their tabs, and then get together and discuss each of their parts. In the end, all these parts are going to come into the final project that they have to all solve. The other option is that every single tab actually has to be done by the entire team. In that case, the work has to be divided. So that means that the students will decide, okay, well, this text box I'm going to do, but the other text box will be done by Joe, and so on. Now, that doesn't mean that Joe is not going to know anything about expository documentary, because they actually have to discuss everything, and they have to then assign somebody who's going to do this, and then assign somebody who's going to do that. So there's constant discussion and brainstorming going on between team members, and this is how they move from tab to tab. This is just management issues. And then, so we have, as I said, now you can create new tabs. When you click on the plus button, you can create a new tab, and you can also create new tabs from template. We have something that's called one tab templates that are performing general things, you know, and for example, you know, you can make a whole tab that is going to be just about research notes. Let's say that you have a project that's research, and you don't want to create everything from scratch because it takes too much time. You can use our one tab templates to mix and match in a way that fits your need. And so so that's another option that you have here. You can, when you right click on any tab, you can copy any tab in the project itself again, and you can copy it to another project. And so what that means is that even though we have a limited number of one tab templates, actually the entire repository of the catalog can be copied to another project. So if you go through a project and you see, oh, there's a tab that I actually can use, all you have to do is just create your project, the original, the one that you are creating, and then go to that new project, clone it, that has the tab that you want to use, clone it first, and then go and copy it to that other project that you just created. And there you can use, actually you can use our entire catalog repository to create your new projects. You can also move tabs to the right, to the left, or you can even drag them. So if you decide that, you know, you can drag them and so on. You can also delete any workspace, rename workspaces. And the last one, we actually need to remove that. That's nothing. Okay. We also have the tools here on the left. So the top tool, it's called the content library. Anything you create in this project is going to be recorded in the content library. And here it says recent, these are recent additions. So, you know, just a question, it also has the type of things that are being added, questions are being added, or text is being added, everything is here. Now, once this recent addition is overflowing, the application arranges them by type. So all the text boxes that you created in this project will show up here. Now, why is that? Because you can repurpose them. Let's say that you need to use the same expository documentary text box in another tab, and you don't want to repeat that. All you have to do is come to text boxes, find the repository one that probably will be on the bottom somewhere here, and then just click. I'm not going to look. And then just click and go to copy to workspace. And I just copied something else, but it doesn't matter right now. And say that you don't really need this. All you have to do is just right click on the three dots and go to archive object, and that will be archived. Now, why archive? Archive because we know that sometimes students inadvertently or sometimes in purpose are going to remove things, and we didn't want them to remove them permanently. So we didn't use delete, we used archive. In the same content library, we also have a section that's called Show Archive. And when you click on Show Archive, then you will see everything that you just archived. And if it was done by, you know, by inadvertently, or, you know, somebody just by mistake, you can always restore it. So you can click on it, press restore, and there it is. It shows up again. Here it is. And you can use it again. So again, removing things from the workspace is archiving. And then this is text. When you click on the A, it creates a new text box for you. When you click inside, you have all these editing tools and you can start typing. And you also have here the ability to add math formulas. It has a website that shows how to add those formulas. So just wanted to emphasize that. And then this is the media section. This is all the media, project media that you will have. You can, again, reuse it in any place. To add new media, you click on the plus button. If this is from the hard drive, click here, and you go and you will be prompted to find it on your computer. If this is from the internet, just insert the URL, press go, and anything and everything will be added. It shows you the type of file that was added. So for example, this is a link. This is an internet link. This is a YouTube video. This is a PDF. If you add any Office 365, or you're adding a G Suite file, their file format will show up here. The names of the files also show up. Once you drop these files on the workspace, like this link, you will also see what is the name of that link and what it is. And videos, you can, as I said, these videos are dropped on the workspace. To view them, all you have to do is just double click and start playing. We only support YouTube videos. So if you have any video that were done by the students, they need to first upload it to YouTube and then they can include it in Project Pulse. We will support more formats later on, but right now that's what we support.
It doesn't matter if it's posted unlisted. That's on YouTube. If it's posted on YouTube, but it's unlisted or public, that makes no difference.
No problem.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we have the questions tool. So every single one here, you have a bunch of questions. Why do you have the questions? First of all, in project-based learning, questions have a very central role. So that's why we wanted to create a special tool for it that has the label question underneath, and students know that, that this is a question, they should expect a question here. Also because Project Pulse is a very visual platform. And as a visual platform, we wanted all these things. When you do a mind map, in a minute, you'll see how mind maps are done and stuff like that. And you'll see exactly what we are talking about, whether this is a question or something else. So here there are a bunch of questions with a question label. Very, very easy to do questions. All you have to do is just click. It gives you here a placeholder for a question. You can resize it. You can start typing. Very easy to do. And then after that, we have the component and the event tool. But before I go there, because that's a more advanced tool that I'm going to show you a little bit later, let's go to the one that says analysis styles. And analysis styles, probably the best way to show you that is probably not in this project. Let me take you to a project that shows it clearly how powerful that is. And I'm going to go to these single tabs and go here and maybe go to the Ideate template. So what you see here, this is our analysis styles tool. Analysis styles is like the question tool. It provides a label for any text that you're adding here, and the label defines what it is. So let's say that you want to show exactly a bunch of problems here and what are their solutions. And you want to add it here in some kind of a mind map that shows the relationship between those two. So that's what allows it to happen. You use the analysis styles tool. The default is problem, solution, and evidence, but you can also add custom one. So let's say that I want to add here, and before I do that though, because this is a Canva project, let me just clone it for a second so I can play with it. Let me clone it. Okay, here it is. And I can now use this. And let's say that I want to add here a cause one also. What is the cause for this problem? And I can create now a new one that's called cause. And I can add here, okay, replace this with a cause. And I'm going to create it. And here is a new tile that's called cause. and I can add it. Now, how do I add it to any problem here? The last tool on the bottom is the relationship tool. Actually, it's the drawing and relationship tool. The drawing tool is very minimal. You can only draw straight lines and squiggly lines if you want to emphasize something, you know, kind of circle something or something like that. But the relationship tool is very powerful. And you, in order to make a relationship or connect items to each other, once you select relationship, every single object gets these purple dots, and you can actually connect everything to everything else. Now you have to select what type of line this is, whether this is solid or broken, how thick, and whether it ends with an arrow. And you can also select a color. And let's say that I'm selecting blue now, and I'm going to collect now the cause to a problem. And there you go. And this is how you make a very, you know, you make different types of mind maps and stuff like that with this tool. As I said, this shows clearly how visual Project Pause is, how visual the whole thing is. Students love it because it makes them focus on things exactly, and they see clearly the relationship between a problem and a solution and so on. So this is very powerful in that sense. Okay. Let me just show you another example from the catalog of the annotation tool, which is the next tool. And the annotation tool, but maybe the best example is this project about green building basics and technology. And here, students are going through the whole idea of how to build green. And they also come to a section that's called net zero home. They want to build a net zero home. And basically, this is a home that is being built, and it's being built with green technology. And so the annotation tool, which is the tool immediately above the relationship tool, when you click on it, you are getting a title. You can add here an image or a video, and you can describe exactly what's happening. What I like about the annotation tool is that the annotation tool is one that I like to use on top of images, because when I want to delve into some phenomena, a specific area of something that I want to explain more about, this is a perfect tool to use. And so what we created here is that insulating the roof. So this is green technology, how to insulate. And there's a video that shows exactly how it's done and a short explanation how and so on. So this entire building, you can actually go through all the different technologies, green technologies that students can, that were used in this house in order to build a greenhouse. So I think that this is probably the best way to explain what the annotation tool does. And you don't necessarily have to use the icon. You can also, if you can edit this, and let's say that you decide that you don't want to show because that takes too much space, and you can press save here, and then you only see the label. So that's all, that takes less space. In addition to that, you can also change its colors. So there's a lot of colors that you can use here. So let's say that we are going to just make this into a different color. So all those are possible things. You can fill it up with different types of labels like that. And yeah, so that's that. Now, I think that we covered all our tools here, except for the components and the events tool. And let me go there. And let's see which project would be the best to show you. As I said before, the completed project that I showed you in our demo was probably the best example for showing you how the component tool works. But there's another project, and let me show you that. That's probably even more powerful to show its role. And this is Design the City of Your Dreams. And here, there is a section that's called Governance. Now here, we are trying to show how a city's governance works. And it starts with the mayor, and then the city council, and the city manager, and he's in charge of all these other energy and sanitation, and so on and so forth, all these other roles. Each of them has their own job description, which is the characteristics. So here you can create, in this case, because this is a lesson plan, it says replace this text with one functionality that the mayor is responsible for. And so what the students are doing in this case, because this was already given to them, is just basically going here, clicking on the edit item. And here they have the name mayor and the image. They can replace all those and go next. And each of these items, which you see here, can be replaced with a real characteristic of what the mayor is doing. And as well as add an image to each of them so that each of these branches gets an image that when you display it, an image that describes whatever they are writing here. Now to create one from scratch, all you have to do is click on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 5th tool here, click here. And as I said before, type a name and then add an image and then press next. And the way next looks is by basically just, this is how it looks. When you edit here, when you press next, then you have all these items, in this case, characteristics or items that you can fill, and you can add more items. You can click on the plus button here, you add a new item, and you can add as many as you need. And then once you, once you finished, then just press save, and that's it. And this is how you open and close those branches and see exactly what each of these roles are and what they do. And that is it. This is, and what's great about it, that it can also be, you can also connect it and show some hierarchical relationship between the different components. The events tool, probably a good example for that would be actually in the same project. Sorry about that. Let's go to lesson plans again and go to that. And in here, when you go to the city history, and this is just the example. So as I said before, I showed you in our demo the project, the science project, where they had to describe how the fulfillment center works. So they basically described a process, a whole process there. And each step of the process was described in the event tool, or they even described how they built the robot by creating step by step, taking photos of each step of the building and describing how they did it. In this case, in this project, it's this history of my city. And what they do here is they will describe milestones in the history of the city, as well as they will add dates here for each of them and locations, of course. And so, so what happens here, then they will be able to display it and show it as I showed before in the other project. And because this is, as I said before, this doesn't have anything right now. If I am editing this, it has the name, it has the image. And if I go next, it looks very much like the component tool. Instead of this being items or characteristics, these are steps. And you can even reorder the steps. It has arrows to reorder up and down or to delete any of the steps. And it has an additional 2 things. One of them is the ability to add a, let's say, a location. So when you add a location, you can just search for it. You guys are in which city?
Oak Forest, Illinois.
Oak Forest.
It's 604.
And so it finds it in Google. It finds there is Oak Forest, and then you press save, and here it gives you a coordinate of Oak Forest, Illinois. And once you want to present it, so let's say I'm pressing save here. Now the other thing that you have also, you have here the ability to add a date. We don't have a drop down for calendar, and the reason is that we wanted to allow students to also write 400 BC or 500 AC or something like that. So you actually have to type a date here. And right now it has a placeholder that's called date, but you can replace it with a real date here. And once everything is done, you press save. And then, as I said before, you have 3 ways to display this. This is the default, where you will go through all the steps. The other one is the gallery, which right now you don't see any images because there's no images. These are all image placeholders, and you can go through all of them like this. And the third one is the map. And here, because we added a few locations, you will actually see them. And so here we have, I think that this is the Oak Forest one, and all the locations with everything that happened there, and with the images that present what's going on there. So that's the events tool. Very powerful tool. What else? If the students finish the project and they want to present it to the class, and I'm going to go to a finished project here in the catalog. Let's say that this is about, this project is about homelessness, or where's my homelessness project? Completed. Oh, here it is. So let's say that this project is about, I just finished a project about homelessness, and I want to present it to the class. And all you have to do is on the bottom left, there is a section that's called, there's a few buttons there. One of them is an arrow. Let's say that you want to move a lot of items on the workspace together, and you don't want to start moving each item separately. You click on the arrow, and the arrow allows you to select multiple items and to move them in tandem together.
That's nice.
Okay. And then the other one next to it is the presentation tool. Students finish, they want to present it to the class. Now, by clicking the presentation tool, it turns it into something like a PowerPoint. And now they have arrows on the top left corner, and they can start talking about it and then move from tab to tab and keep talking about how this whole project developed. And that's what you do. So that's the presentation mode. You can also zoom in, you can zoom out, and you can zoom back to normal. And you also, comments. Let's say that you want to comment on any of the, anything that the students did. I'm going to go back to the classroom, and I'm going to just go, and every single object here has a comment icon. And if you click on it, you can say, this is not enough or something. And you have access, and the students have access to the comment tool. And there you go. You see that there's a number showing up that says, oh, there's a comment here. And then students can come in, check it out, and then reply to your comment here. So this is, as I said, both students and teachers can do this. And I believe that I covered everything. Oh, except for one thing that I did not cover is the other two ways to create projects. So I showed you how to clone, but let's say you want to do from scratch. You click on the plus button here. You name the project, my new project. And you will also add a description. I'm going to skip this, and you can add an image here. And then I'm going to skip that too right now. And you have a few choices. Choice number one is you don't want to use any of our one-tap templates here. You just want to do a project from scratch. You will click on the blank. But let's say that you do want to use our one-tap templates. It gives you 4 beginning tabs that usually projects start with. But if you don't like this, just go to more templates. And when you go to more templates, then you have a whole selection of the one-tap templates that you can select from. And let's say that you start with a bunch of questions. You want to start it with a question. And then you add another phase. And then this time you want to add to it a something else, maybe observation or something, observations, and then save, and maybe, and so on. So let's say I'm going to finish it here just to not take up too much time. But when you use the one-tap templates, it's just build the project from those one-tap templates for you. And here it is, the project was created, my new project, and it has 2 tabs that you selected. You don't have to redo everything from scratch. It already has some things there. And now you can customize them or change them, and then go to observations. And here are a whole, whole page about observation, and so on. So basically, this is how you do that. I think that I covered it all. But
Yeah,
please,
this is very, very cool. There's a lot of stuff here that I'm excited to like look at, now that I have the trial and everything, but it's really, really cool.
wonderful. As I said, we are adding very powerful items for the next academic year. It's going to include milestones and connecting tasks to milestones, and then collecting tasks to not rubric items, to the standards. So you'll see a whole progress of student student progress initially, how they go. So that's coming next year. Yeah, that's Project Pulse.
Very, very cool.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for spending the time to show me all of these things.
Absolutely.
It makes it so much easier for me, especially too, because I love to be a part of the technology, and I'm sure I'd be part of integrating it, but now I can, I have a lot to discuss with the teacher of the program, who this is really, really geared towards as well, without having to figure it all out by myself, which is what I usually do. So this is wonderful.
Perfect. I'm glad. So, I'm going to stop sharing, and please let me know if you have any questions. Oh, we have little YouTube videos I sent it in the email. We have a YouTube channel. We have little YouTube videos for teachers. If they don't want to spend the whole hour listening to our presentation, they can just go and say, oh, how do I import my Google Classroom? There is a little video for that takes only a few minutes. So, we also have that. And we have a lot of training videos that are longer that, we recommend definitely going through. So there's a lot of resources that you can use.
Okay, excellent. Then the next step for me would be to, obviously, I'm going to meet and talk to the DECA teacher about this. I unfortunately am not in charge of like any budgets that would be used to purchase this. My job would be, like pitching it and talking to supervisors. Mm-hmm. If when we get to that stage, is your name good to pass along if I were to like include you in an email and say, this is the supervisor who would like to know more about pricing and things like that?
Sure, absolutely, absolutely. And if this is a whole district that's buying, or just a big number of students, something like that, we provide discounts. We provide, big school or district discounts, definitely. All
right. This is really cool. And I think that everybody's going to be very excited about it. So thank you very much for spending the time with me today. And I will definitely be in contact.
No, then no problem. And I'm going to check in from time to time with you, how things are going, and, Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you. Okay,
bye. All right, thank you. Bye.